really just focus on the work that I think matters to Arizona and to our country, which is solving problems and getting things done.
Okay, there's, another minute here. Literally nothing is going to change. She is still caucusing with the Democrats, at least in the short term, in terms of what is going to happen in Congress. She is still caucusing with Democrats. She's still keeping all her committee appointments. And the way she has voted so far has been incredibly conservative. Nothing is changing here. It's just a label that is changing to help her avoid a primary in 2 years. Because she would get absolutely destroyed in a primary, as I will get to all the data showcasing this later on in this video. But that's why she is doing this. It's to avoid a primary and try and win as an independent next time around. And I mean, either she is going to pull it off somehow, or she is going to split the vote and likely hand the seat to the Republican Party. But that's 2 years off. It's unclear now how that's all going to play out. But let's just finish this trash.
Your voting record is pretty capital D Democratic. I mean, your views are generally that of a moderate centrist Democrat.
Voting record does not give you a full picture because of the bills that she has helped kill or modify to make a lot more conservative and pro-corporate. So the idea that, yes, she votes with Democrats the majority of the time, that doesn't tell you what she did behind the scenes to push legislation, either push it down, get it out, or change it in a way that benefits her corporate donors. So we can't focus too much on voting record, though, yes, it is a factor that is worth considering, but that isn't the whole picture.
How does leaving the party change how you do your job?
Well, I don't think anything will change about how I do my job. Arizonans sent me to the United States Senate to be an independent voice for our state, and I'll continue doing that. What I think is important about this decision and this move is that I'll be able to show up to work every day as an independent and not be, stuck into one party's demands of following without thinking. And as we've seen in recent years.
When was she stuck doing this? She killed Build Back Better along with Joe Manchin. Like, what are you talking about? She's already been operating on her own. Again, it's all a ploy for, attention, as well as to help her in the next election or try to avoid a primary in 2 years.
Parties have created this kind of requirement or a pull towards the edges that you just unthinkingly support all of one party's viewpoints. It's made it difficult to find folks who are willing to work together and solve problems. Now,
this is all bullshit. The only time both parties work together on anything is to help corporations. That's it. You can look through what is passed. That is the only time both parties work together. It's to benefit massive corporations. This idea that both parties are on the fringes, in what way? There's a small contingent of Democrats like Bernie Sanders he's an independent, but he caucuses with Democrats. A small contingent like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, that support Medicare for all, for example, that does not have majority support in Congress as it should. Then you have the other side that is, what are they doing? Like, what do they actually do? Even Republican or conservative media had to admit after the Georgia runoff and after this midterm that they weren't really for anything. You had, I think it was Mark Levin, a far-right media figure, admitting that the GOP had no line on how to deal with inflation. That they were so focused on these cultural issues, or again, so focused on creating cultural issues out of just pure human rights, like trans rights, that people just were disinterested. There was nothing that the GOP were doing that was actually bringing people into the party in a way that would have got them to win some of these races. So this is all just, again, bullshit. There's nothing here. It's all vapid. But let's continue the last 30 seconds.
As you know, Jake, we've been able to do a lot of bipartisan work over the last couple of years, and I'm incredibly proud of that. And I think it's important for folks across my state and frankly across the country to say, yeah, there's someone They're someone that's kind of like me, doesn't fit neatly into one box or the other, but is standing up for their values, for what they believe in, and is doing it without trying to get one over on the other party or beat the other guy.
And what are those values? Again, this isn't questioned here. Jake Tapper doesn't push her on what those values are. What are you talking about specifically? None of that. And it's amazing that somebody in his position just sits there as she is spouting this verbal diarrhea at him for 10 minutes without any actual pushback here. It is so disgusting how terrible these people are at their job. Now, let's continue on with what this shit's all about. So, important to note here that Sinema has brought the entire state of Arizona together in thinking she sucks. So, this is a great headline here from Slate. This is what all the data shows us. This is, one pollster here, but do your own research if you have to. You will find the same results. The vast majority of people, regardless of who they are, do not like her. So the closest she comes to maybe getting in the green somewhere on favorability is with independents. And even still, she's a -10. Like, nobody likes Kyrsten Sinema. Now, it becomes even more clear here. So this Data for Progress poll from about a year ago, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema is set to be unseated by possible challenger Ruben Gallego in 2024 primary landslide, which this is what is mostly motivating this move to become an independent. She no longer has to engage in a primary challenge because she would absolutely lose. So taking a look at some of this data here, let me zoom in a bit. So like this is I think the best way to showcase all this is comparing her to other Democrats. So you have Joe Biden here, very favorable, very popular, somewhat so majority here is 80% for Joe Biden. Then you have Mark Kelly, the other senator, Democratic senator, 78%, right up there with Joe Biden. Then Ruben Gallego, I guess the potential challenger here at 58. And then Regina Romero, 29. Kyrsten Sinema, 19 favorable, with only 7% very favorable among Democratic primary voters. So she would get destroyed in a Democratic primary. And again, assuming this would continue, but nothing's really changed. She hasn't turned around and done anything since a year ago. So, largely this sentiment, I imagine, has continued. But you can go look at every single data point here. You're going to see the same results. It's going to be favorable, tiny number, and unfavorable across the board is the largest piece here. And again, they put her up against potential primary challenge right here, and she is getting destroyed in both cases. So against Gallego and against Regina Romero. Yeah, this is what motivated this entire thing. It's not about, I really care about Arizona, and I just want to do what's best for them. I don't want them to have to choose between the left or the right, between the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, because I'm an independent voice, and I'm fucking full of shit. I debated whether or not to watch this on stream or in this video, because this is her announcement. Let's see how far we can get through. I'm just gonna get forward the intro here. Let's see how far we can get through before I have to go barf.
Time thinking about, is this a Republican idea or is this a Democratic idea? Is this liberal or is this conservative? That's not how Arizonans think. What we think about is what's right for my family, what's right for my community, what's right for my future. There's nothing better.
Look at this B-roll here. Like, oh my God, I can't take these fake ass performances. I can't do it. This is worse than Ted Cruz. Look, this is happening right now. Maybe I'm just biased at the moment because I'm watching this, but at the very least, she is right up there with Ted Cruz in terms of just the fake ass nature of how she speaks in these videos and this freaking campaign ad here. Just so ridiculous. So let me play here. This is from a video I did about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. And A quick clip from this video showcasing how clearly fake she is based